Welcome back to another episode of the Macros and Muscles podcast with your hosts, Aurora and Jenna.
Hope everybody had a great holiday season. We are about to step in the new year, and we've kind of been, touching on our goals and such for the new year and things that we want to accomplish. But today we're going to talk about something different, and it's going to be, how to stay on track and reach your goals, especially that has to do with, health and nutrition goals, when you don't kind of have the same support around you or someone that's on the same plan as you are, and what kind of things we can do to still be close during that time, and how we can combat how to stay on track when it's not so easy. And
Right. Yeah. Because I find that to be a very common thread with clients. There's so much glare on here because we've got our studio lighting in the car. They'll say that, they're trying really hard and they want to meal prep and cook healthier meals and things like that. But let's say their spouse or their kids are just not having it. They don't have the same goals. They don't want to eat. They don't want to change the way they've been eating and things like that. So I just thought, and I've experienced both sides of that as well. And it can be really, let's just face it, it's hard when you don't have that support at home. I mean, I don't care if it's like your friends, if you're younger and your family, your parents, or a boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, husband, wife, whoever it is that you live with or that you spend a lot of time with or share meals with. If you're not on the same page, it's hard.
And it's like, I feel like, I don't know what culture or what kind of person it comes from, but obviously food brings people together, and that's kind of what the topic is, and how we can create that togetherness even if we're not eating the same things. And I feel like you have a really good example of that because you experienced both of those things in your relationship and at home and everything.
Yeah. So like with my husband, prior to his heart attack, he ate generally healthy. Okay. For him, it was more portion sizes and just like the snack stuff that would kind of like led to his situation. But it was hard for me because like first of all, we didn't see it coming. He had no other, indicators that there was anything wrong. Like he didn't have high blood pressure. He didn't have, anything wrong with his blood sugar. He didn't have any of those things, but he did have, being overweight. But aside from that, everything looked great. His lab work was always perfect and all of that. So we didn't see that coming. So I never tried to change anything that he was doing, whatever, unless he mentioned it to me that he wanted to lose weight. And
which is important.
That's when we would butt heads a little bit because he would go back to what he had always done, which was Slim Fast. And even before I became a coach, I was like, I'm not okay with that. Like, I know better than that, even before I really knew better than that. But that's the thing. It's like when people feel like something has worked for them in the past, they want to go back there. And then I would try to tell him like, well, clearly it doesn't work if you have to keep doing it.
It just reminds me of that thing of like going back to your toxic ex, expecting something different.
Exactly. So, okay, if you want to be starving, sure. But thankfully, so that's where we did butt heads a little bit, right? But then thankfully, after he had his heart attack, he said, I'm all in, we're going to do it your way. And
felt good to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So no more Slim Fast. And you all know the story. I've talked about it numerous times. But the point is, we weren't always on the same page. Now we are much more on the same page. And that makes a big difference. And I want to give hope to people that maybe their significant other is not on the same page, but they wish they were. And what I have to say is, don't be a nag.
Don't be
do
nag.
not do that, because it will only make it worse. They will only fight you harder, you
And,
know.
hopefully it doesn't take a heart attack or a serious health condition to
Mm,
put that change into motion. But if it does and you have that chance, then, you can go from
right.
there, which is great.
But
But
what you can do, because you can't nag, you can't force someone to have your goals, okay? You can't force someone to want something for themselves that they don't want
mhm,
themselves. But what you can do is set an example. And you might not believe that you're capable of inspiring other people, but you are. You never know who might be inspired by the changes that you make in yourself.
and it could be the smallest thing too,
Hmm.
but you never know how far that goes.
Exactly. So, just my advice is to just focus on yourself, becoming the healthiest version of you. And hopefully, you'll inspire your significant other eventually
Hmm.
to maybe want to join you in that pursuit.
Definitely. Like, I know that my boyfriend, because he lived with me, of course, through the whole bodybuilding experience and prior to that and post that. And he definitely learned a lot from the process of, fueling your body properly and why it's important to do all those things. And whether you're working out or not, like he works, a labor job. So
Mm,
it, makes sense to him that if you're not fueling yourself to the, as optimal as possible, then you can't put out the work as optimal as possible. And he's definitely learned and taken some things from my lifestyle and implemented in his life that makes him better and,
mm.
more hydrated, even just drinking more water.
Oh,
When
yeah.
when you come from a, perspective or, a history of mostly soda and like other drinks, but you just start adding water and more protein into your diet, you're going to be so much more better off than you were before just by those small things. You don't have to become a bodybuilder overnight or
Hmm.
hit the gym 7 days a week to progress and improve your health.
Right.
And something that I loved when I was bodybuilding, when we were on different diets, was that eating at the same time was important for me, because even if we weren't eating the same thing, not nearly the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
not all the time, but it would be helpful to eat at the same time because it still felt like we were sharing that time together, although not eating the same things, because you don't have to eat the same things all the time, of course. But and then there would be times where I would, be making certain proteins and ground beef, chicken, whatever. It would be nice because I'd be cooking it and have to measure it out for me and prep some, but he'll also eat that in his meal and add whatever he wants to it and rice and
Mm.
whatever else. So there was ways we could kind of merge, and where he could enjoy the food that I need to eat, and that is also healthy for him to eat. And um, so it was like we were still being together. And another part, was great about that, and I'm grateful to have that kind of support, which was he, doesn't want to be a bodybuilder or eat the same thing as me, but he knew that I had goals that were important to me. So he would say, if I wanted to have a cheat meal or something, or not a cheat meal, but veer off from what I'm supposed to be doing, then he would try and support me and let me know that no, you this is your goals. That reminder of
Mm.
that you're looking out for me even when I kind of want to fall back is really important, and like just special
Yeah.
that when if I would be like, oh, I don't feel like going to the gym, I would want him to say like, don't go, come home. And he'd be like, you need to get to the gym right now and do that workout. And then you can
Hmm.
come home. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, you're right. And I was always thankful for it too. Never,
That is so
it
sweet.
just comes out of a place of,
Hmm.
you don't want to do it or whatever. But it's good for you. And when you have that extra reminder, it's really helpful. So even if, your partner's significant other can't do or be a part of your, 100% of your journey, like eating the same things as you, there's definitely ways that they can, help you and look out for you on your journey.
Yeah.
And also takes, might take some education on our part to explain to the people around us that we want support from, to understand why we have to do certain things or be regimented a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you
Hmm.
don't know, how can you expect someone to help or care on the same level as you if they don't know?
Hmm.
Because if I needed that protein and you ate it or something,
Hmm.
I'm gonna be a little short on my protein. But if we're all on the same understanding and we can, work those things out, then I think you're on a good track to have a good support system and on track to reach your goals.
Yeah. And well, that makes me think of something too, that we can't expect the people around us to support us in the way that we want to be supported if we don't tell them.
Hmm.
So I think that's a really important point that you brought up, of letting your people know what they can do, what's helpful and what's not helpful. Like, I've had to tell my husband that certain, he would joke about certain things when I couldn't, not couldn't, but
You were on a
when I was in a cut and
Mhm.
I wasn't having, any alcohol or any extra snacks and things like that, he would, joke around and be like, "Oh, you're no fun." And that would really bother me.
Because it's
Like,
like,
it's a stupid little
girl, you
comment.
are fun.
I
Whether
should
you
just,
drink, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
like, I shouldn't care, but I cared. I
Mhm.
cared deeply. So I had to tell him, I'm like, you can't say that to me. It's really, like, it upsets me.
And like it might be funny and a joke and a way for him to,
Hmm.
converse and be with it, but it's also like a little inconsiderate.
Yeah, it's like, but he knows that, like, now that he knows that that bothers me, like, he's not going to do it,
And he because he knows that.
Yeah,
And he's not gonna want to, you know,
right.
to make you feel a
Yeah.
way that you don't want to feel, especially that he knows.
And if you do have family that doesn't care and they do degrade you, well, that's a terrible situation. And if it's somebody that, is close enough to you that you can't escape, so to
Hmm.
speak, like, it's one thing if it's extended family that you only see over the holidays. But if you're around that kind of unsupportiveness, I
Hmm.
guess, that's really hard. And, you know, you've got to find ways to really take care of yourself
Hmm.
and be strong.
And find people who online,
Yes.
virtual, Reddit, Twitter, thread, whatever. There's so many
Mhm.
communities that even if they're not, right next to you, which we're so grateful to have,
Mhm.
there's totally people out there that can support you and will want to share that support because not everybody has a support group
Right.
but
Yeah.
you can find that in places you wouldn't be sure to look. And quick sidebar, but
Mm.
kind of in relation to this, um I had a customer that would tell me that they changed their entire lifestyle, became healthy. Well, part of that was like not drinking because of health and whatever
Mm.
other reasons for them. They said that when they first went through their journey and they went to like a networking event, they didn't have anything to drink because they're not drinking, and it caused such a stir that the next time they had that the networking event, that the um instead of just not having a drink, they got a drink but just put like like a club soda in it so that
It looked
it
like a
looked like
drink.
they were drinking. Because it's so just philosophically
Mm.
speaking, it is just funny to notice how when you go against the norm, or whatever norm there is that you might not be a part of, that it it makes people uncomfortable.
Right.
And where they realize that to take away from the noticing of not having a drink, like, oh wow, you're not drinking, they are now assimilating to look like they're drinking but
Mhm.
not actually, because that's going to be perceived or received better by the
Right.
community that they're within. So
Yeah.
I just think that's funny, the way that we perceive things and judge people. It's like, oh, why, you're not drinking? Well, for
Mm.
whatever reason, health, fitness, whatever it is, it's like, but if even if you aren't drinking but you look like you are,
Then it's okay.
then it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it, like, personally, that wouldn't really bother me. Like, I know, in my like team Facebook, people were talking about how they get uncomfortable when people make comments like that and asking them why they're doing certain things or not doing certain things over the holidays and whatnot. And some people are sensitive to that and it's upsetting for them,
Hmm.
and if that kind of stuff really bothers you, and you know
And I also think it's more of a hassle sometimes to like explain yourself
mm,
if it's not something that like you want to talk about, or like, oh, I'm doing a body, if that's not, or like, you're just working on your goals and you don't want to bring attention,
mm,
it makes sense.
yeah. But every situation is a little bit different. But so I do want to go back to talk about more about how you said that you sort of created that closeness
Hmm.
even though you may have not been eating the same
Hmm.
things. And then on, like, our side of things, we would eat the same things. It's just the portion sizes are dramatically different.
And that's hard,
And
right?
I struggle
As
with
a,
that
you know,
big time.
visual eater.
Yeah. I don't anymore.
With
But
practice
for a
and
long time, I'll tell you who helped me through that actually. She's an IFBB pro. I just don't know how to say her last name. Nicole Jugia?
I think
Jugia?
I think
don't
you're
know.
right.
But anyway, I'll get to that in a second. But so we'd have the same food, right? It's like whatever it was. If we were having like chicken and potatoes and asparagus, whatever. But he would have so much more than me. And I would
You're
be
like,
like,
what the freak, dude?
I want the big man plate.
Right?
You know?
Exactly.
So yeah, I
Well,
struggled
we
with
got
that
the
for a long time.
little girl body.
Right? And I'm like, oh, you get so much more than me. And he's like looking at me, looking at him, and he's like, I hope so.
Exactly, right?
But that's something that Nicole G, we'll call her, kind of talked a lot about it was like a year ago. She was in her stories a lot.
And comparison is the thief of joy.
Right? I know. But so her husband is also a professional bodybuilder, but just being a man, and I'm not going to say, speculate on PED usage or any of that kind of stuff, but that stuff helps, right? So, and he's a guy and everybody's different. He is able to eat things that she is not able to eat and be the best in the world. Okay? Because her goal, very different goals here. Okay. She's, a very successful person in the sport and wants to, always be at the very top of her game. I am not. I do not have goals like that.
No.
But she would show how, I'm having, she would be having her protein pudding of literally just the protein and water and, whatever. And while her husband is having a piece of cake. And she would show that on Instagram and be like, you see, a lot of you guys are bothered by this. This doesn't bother me. I'm having what I want to have, what makes me feel good, and what is conducive to me achieving my goals. And I had to really, I DM'd her about that.
Yeah.
Hey,
can you give me the guide?
We talked about it a little bit too, but it's taken a while, but I understand that now. And I've gotten past the dinner plate jealousy.
Yes, definitely. I feel like my bodybuilding journey helped me with that because it gave me the attitude that you said that she just had, which is if it's not helpful to me or my goals, I kind of don't want anything to do with it. And of course I would have glimpses of normal craving and immediate gratification things that I would want and try to urge myself away from them. But honestly, post the bodybuilding year, and now it's the food, the noise around food isn't as intense as it was before. And I think it's because of that process where it's if I don't need it, it doesn't make sense for me to need it. Why do I want it? And it's really literally just rewiring your brain because I wanted that stuff before, right. But now it's just and I also do try to remind myself more and more that it's always there. It's not, whether you're on a diet or just you don't want to have, sugary things, all whatever, it's holidays and moderation. But I feel like I've progressed so much in my eating and looking at whether other people can eat and everything, but it's a process.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We've come a long way. We've come a long way.
Really long way. Yes. I already lost it. I was thinking about, what was it? I had a memory of I can't believe I used to do that.
Toasted coconut marshmallows?
No. But just about how my relationship with food has improved. I mean, gosh, it's a work in progress still. Trust me.
Trust.
Not saying I've got it all figured out by any means, but I've come a long way.
Improvement is possible. Progress It's possible.
Oh yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah. So actually this is going to be a complete tangent because it has nothing to do with our topic. But the thing that I remembered today was when I found out I was pregnant with my son, 17 years ago. So now, again, I didn't know anything back then, just a regular person, okay?
I love when you preface things with
right?
that.
But when I found out I was pregnant, I said to myself, I am going to be the healthiest pregnant woman that has ever walked planet Earth. And I thought to myself, would you feed your baby a Snickers bar? No. So then why would you consume one? Because like everything I eat, my baby's eating, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I would only eat, completely clean, whole foods. It's just going to be lean proteins, fruits and vegetables, and that is it. Not a piece of junk, because if you wouldn't feed it to a baby, I'm not going to eat it. 2 weeks later, and I don't remember exactly if I even made it 2 weeks. I'm guessing.
We'll give you the 2 weeks. I'll give you the 2 weeks.
weeks.
Yeah, I'll give you the 2 weeks.
Yeah. So the rest of my pregnancy was 3 things: Elio's frozen pizza, Cocoa Puffs, and ice cream.
Wow.
Yeah.
They had the Elios?
Yeah.
They're still
I
going
grew up
strong.
on that.
Wow.
Yeah, I grew up on that. Yeah. So anyway, now looking back, I know so many things that were wrong with that whole situation and that like elitist attitude I had in the beginning.
Only
that
health.
I couldn't keep up.
Only organic, only health.
Yes.
You better not eat anything.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, no way. Dark chocolate, maybe, if it was organic and fair trade. But
what was your favorite pregnancy food?
it was Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, I ate lots of Cocoa Puffs like every day.
Hey, you were consistent.
I had lots of Cocoa Puffs.
Consistency is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing was buffalo chicken, which was great because it gives you heartburn, which you already have when you're pregnant.
Beautiful.
So isn't that great?
Yeah.
Anyway, off on a tangent, but your relationship with food is something that I think we all have to work on
and be aware of. Like it took me years to like be aware of what my like hold up setbacks were with my food tendencies. And like, you know me, I love food, I love everything, right? So just overconsumed a lot of things, and it had to, over time, and it took years. I feel like it's a decade-long process to be like balanced as you can and moderately like healthy and everything. But you just gotta look at what you're eating and I have notes of like I would want to be eating healthy, and then I would not eat. I would eat something that
you deemed was not healthy.
That I deemed was not healthy, but it was almost like I like forgot about it or something, and so I had to just every time that would happen be like, "What the freak? Why am I like letting this slide or not being aware, mindful in the moment of these things?" And so you just have to get on yourself to be aware of these things, because obviously, I mean, I like to say no one else can do it for you, but if you do have someone else to do it for you, that's great. But you got to be aware of what you're inputting and consuming in your body. And of course that goes for not just even food, but content and who you surround yourself with and the lifestyle you're living. It's important.
Yeah, which goes back to, if you don't have support at home, find that support.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're my only friend that is in this space.
Yeah.
Like real life person.
And like I met,
and
like,
by real life, I mean like I'm about to talk about the people that I have met on Instagram, which is incredible.
Yes.
But in real life, meaning someone that I'm face to face with.
Yeah. Same. And because of the bodybuilding journey that I did find a community. Like when I did the Angel competition bikini fashion show, I'm now, tons of people and, empower women that I never knew about, all from all over the nation. We can all be friends and see each other's progresses and journeys because of that community. And then I met some great girls doing the bodybuilding show. And so sometimes you have to go out there and find them, or there's other ways, like, on social media as well.
Yeah. I've made some great connections on Instagram that I just, the kind of people that I feel like, just from going back and forth, like commenting on a story and like following someone and being like, well, I was going to say like, hey, you have great content, but that's what all the business coaches say when they DM you.
Not trying to,
but like, I'm not a business coach. So, I think they know it's sincere when I like message someone about, something like that. But, I've definitely like met a lot of really cool people, on Instagram. And also, my coach has a Facebook group, just like I have a Facebook group for my clients, and her Facebook group, like I've made connections with other people on the team. So, and that's a great way to just go and find support. Like if you work with a coach and they have a group like that, put yourself out there, post and comment and get to know people.
And with that being said, like, the world runs on humans. I know that, like, on social media, there's, of course, introverted people are not not few, but introverted, extrovert, whatever kind of person you are, everyone needs a community to feel like they can be themselves in, to be accepted in and included in, because that's what, breeds productivity, drive, motivation, and, positive things that can benefit you. And that's what we want. We want to be in a positive community where we can accept and progress.
Yeah. So it's like I think those are to kind of like tie up our main points here, is if you have a significant other that is not on board with what you're trying to do, you need to really identify the reasons that you want to make the changes and accept the fact that you're not going to get that support that you wish you had. And that's okay, because you're strong enough to do it. You're strong enough. You can still reach your goals, even if your significant other is not on board. Don't nag, set an example, and you will inspire. It might take longer than you hope, but you never know. You never know.
And try to do the things that you say that you want to do and will do, to emphasize setting that example.
Right.
By saying, I'm going to start going to the gym once a week. I'm going to start home cooking a meal once a week. And then again, same thing where, negative comes negative. The positive builds on the positive.
Right. So watch your language too. Don't say things like, I have to have this, or I can't have that, because why would you're not making it look very attractive.
No.
They're not going to want to join you.
They're going to be like, that looks
or
like
support you. Right. Like, okay, well,
and you're
miserable. So why would I want to do that? And why are you doing that?
And it might make you more miserable if you don't have that support. However, you can't just get into a miserable hole and dig your heels down. Right. You have to go against the tide. You have to, again, set the example for what you want to reciprocate, receive, and also because what you want to put out into the world too.
Right. And sometimes you would rather, let's say you have a specific goal, like, I believe in all foods fit and all that kind of thing. But let's say we have a specific goal. We're in a fat loss phase and there's no room for chocolate cake right now. Yeah, there are going to be times when you would rather be eating a piece of chocolate cake and you're not so happy about eating your egg whites and vegetables. Okay. But instead of telling yourself and being like, oh, all right, I have to eat this now, wish it was a chocolate cake, be like, you know what? I love chocolate cake and I can have that at a later date. But right now I'm so grateful that I get to eat this meal that's going to nourish me and give me the protein and nutrients that I need to reach my goal. It's reframing, even for yourself, even though you feel like, well, I can't trick my own brain. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Oh God, you can.
Yeah, you can.
There's ways you can. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. So, and same thing with the gym. You don't feel like, oh, I have to go to the gym. No. You get to go to the gym. And having that kind of attitude not only benefits you, but it benefits the people that are watching you and that are around you.
And real talk, real quick, you know, if someone that you like and love and want to have that feelings back from you, if they truly don't support you or your goals of you trying to better yourself, you should think about that.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
we're rooting for you, and I'm root for everyone to be their
Mm-hmm.
best self. And if that's not how if people aren't reacting to you that way, then you should think about that.
Definitely. And also, in the meantime, find the support like we were talking about, you know, go
Mhm.
out and find those people because they're out there. You
Mhm.
just you have to be, you know, you got to put yourself out there a little bit, which is uncomfortable.
Near, far, and all intergalactic social media.
Yeah. All
Let me
right.
check how much we got here.
So is there any
perfect.
other, oh yeah, this is perfect.
Perfect.
So, yeah, is there anything else you want to touch on tonight?
I think next time we should talk about the fit model category.
Oh my God.
I totally forgot about that before.
Well, all right. I applied to be a, well, they sent me an email and I replied to it that I wanted to be a tester for their new suits.
I know.
So we'll see if that happens because I'm just hoping that the NPC changes their minds a little bit because, you know, originally they said no scrunch butt and then they went back and changed it and said they can have scrunch butt.
I saw the regulation for the fit model. It was like no sparkles,
Yeah,
no like
no
bright color. Like it looked
bling
like
at all.
I was like, oh, like why? But
Yeah,
whatever.
because they're trying to set it apart. I get that, but everybody's kind of
But
like,
I mean, we want the bling bling.
we want bling.
We want that bling bling.
So we'll see what happens. But I'd be really excited.
I hope you get that.
Yes.
And I have seen so many memes about this that I can't
Really?
wait to talk. Oh yes. Oh yes.
See, it's so weird. Like the internet, Instagram is so big because we don't see the same things.
It's so funny. I've seen memes where they're like I can't picture, like I can't describe you the meme, but it's like when people have been competing like they're, you know, X amount of years and they could never be in the fit model category because they're already too muscular because there was never a category like that before. Mm-hmm. And it's like I've seen some shade about it, but mm-hmm. I support it as a new bodybuilder, unexperienced, you know, in the bodybuilding world. I'm for it.
Yeah.
You know, the more the merrier. People can get involved and, you know, take health and fitness into their center, then I'm for it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, there's.
And you know,
we should do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, we will. And to that same point, it's like, well, all the people that went bikini that could have been wellness 5+ years ago, right? What? Oh, are they mad at me because I can do wellness? No, it's just the way things advance, and we have to accept it and learn from all of it too.
I just love it because I feel like there's a division for everybody.
Yeah,
I felt like I didn't really have my place.
And again, with that, you'll find your place through having a category like this. And also, like in my first bodybuilding show, typically bodybuilders will pick a show where they can do a debut category at, because that means your first time, and then there's a certain award for that, whatever. Like my show didn't have a debut category, so like I don't know, but whatever, for whatever it's worth, that I don't know. But I think it's a great thing. I'm for it.
I do too. I think it's an incredible thing.
We should definitely talk about that next episode.
Yes, we will. All right. See you guys next time.
Perfect.
I hope.
And recording.